Okay, so again, Ezekiel chapter 24, the cooking pot. In the 9th year, in the 10th month, on the 10th day, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, record this date, this very date, because the king of Babylon has laid siege to Jerusalem this very day. Tell this rebellious house a parable and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Put on the cooking pot, put it on and pour water into it. Put into it the pieces of meat, all the choice pieces, the leg and the shoulder. Fill it with the best of these bones. Take the pick of the flock. Pile wood beneath it for the bones. Bring it to a boil and cook the bones in it. For this is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the city of bloodshed, to the pot now encrusted, whose deposit will not go away. Empty it piece by piece, without casting lots for them. For the bloodshed is in her midst. She poured it on the bare rock. She did not pour it on the ground, where the dust would cover it. To stir up wrath and take revenge, I put her blood on the bare rock, so that it would not be covered. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the city of bloodshed. I too will pile the wood high, so heap on the wood and kindle the fire. Cook the meat well, mixing in the spices, and let the bones be charred. Then set the empty pot on the coals till it becomes hot and its copper glows, so its impurities may be melted and its deposit burned away. It has frustrated all efforts. Its heavy deposit has not been removed, not even by fire. Now your impurity is lewdness, because I tried to cleanse you, but you would not be cleansed from your impurity. You will not be clean again until my wrath against you has subsided. I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come for me to act. I will not hold back. I will not have pity, nor will I relent. You will be judged according to your conduct and your actions, declares the sovereign Lord. So this is, there's several different pieces here. This is sermon upon sermon, and this can be looked at in many different ways. So we're going to look at it in this way. And so let's look at it in this way. So during that time, the choice is meat. So this is, the pot is Jerusalem. The people are the choices. They're the best. They're supposed to represent the best. They're supposed to represent the people who are going to be the examples to the rest. So everybody can be the best. So everybody can see what it is to worship the Lord. And instead, they refuse to do it. And so he's going to turn things up. He's going to allow for things to happen that were not happening. He himself is going to do it. He's going to allow for it because he's going to remove that protection. So he's going to add the fire. He's going to add the wood and add the fire. Bake, or pretty much, taking a soup past boil to where it just completely evaporates. And then everything in it is charred. And even then, he's saying, even then, it's still not clean. It's still not correct. So he's going to, so these people of Jerusalem at this time have completely, not only have they gotten into rebellion against the Lord, but they are in complete denial of the Lord. They don't have the faith, they don't have the belief, and they refuse to. So the Lord is saying, okay, I've tried to cleanse these people. I've tried to do it, but they are refusing. So now I'm going to do away with them, and they're going to be left to judgment. So, and we'll talk about that when we get further into the New Testament, because even the Lord, our Savior Jesus, is going to talk in parables in a similar situation. And then more will be revealed once we get to the New Testament, the end of the New Testament and Revelations. So think about those things, how the Lord sees his people, how the Lord sees his people, how he saw how he wanted to do everything he could, but they got into a they got into a place where it was not just rebellion, but it was completely turning against the Lord and having the Lord actually as the enemy. For them having that, choosing that. And so the Lord saying, okay, I have, in order to continue to show my holiness, to show my righteousness, I have to allow for these things to happen. And Ezekiel is telling them this. Ezekiel's telling, listen to what he says. Now your impurity is lewdness, because I tried to cleanse you, but you will not be cleansed from your impurity. You will not be clean again until my wrath against you has subsided. So he's saying that it is just pure, like you are just full, they are just full on, no, they are not going to follow the Lord's guide. It's like a child, it's like someone saying no to someone in charge. And for no good reason except for wickedness. So that's how these people have turned. Bringing past to present, do we see things that happen like this, where a person or people can get into a point where they are in a rebellion? Have you seen it? Have you witnessed it? Have you been it? Have you been a child that just said no? And the reason why is because you wanted to do what you wanted to do. You were told not to do whatever it is. You didn't understand any other reason why you couldn't do it or couldn't do what you wanted to do. So you decided, no, I'm going to do what I wanted to do beyond any guidance. Have you witnessed that? Where someone has chose to do something that you knew was not good, was wicked or destructive. And you could understand, you can understand that there will be consequences to be had with that decision. So that's what we can take a look at into our lives. Is there times where we have gotten into a place where we have decided there is no other thought, there is nothing else. We don't need anybody else. We just need to rely on ourselves. We just need to do and act how we want to do. What gets us to that point? What gets us to the point where we are just relying on ourselves, we're just seeking ourselves, or we're just caring about ourselves? Think about those things. Think about our relationship with the Lord and how the Lord only wants the best. Seek his guidance, seek his love. He is full of it. He's full of love and mercy and faithfulness. He is the Savior. He is the Redeemer. He is the provider of our salvation. Before we go on, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel and what does it make you think?